Welcome back, history explorers. Today we're venturing beyond the marble and majesty of the Roman Empire, into its shadowy corridors and hidden corners, where secrets whisper and the glory of Rome reveals its darker twin. Join us on a gripping journey back in time, as we peel back the layers of history to expose the dark side of the Roman Empire. Unearth the tales that time almost forgot, and discover the chilling truths behind the empire that ruled the world. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. Chapter 1. The Unseen Chains. In the sprawling estates and bustling streets of Rome, an unseen world thrived in the shadows. Here, countless slaves toiled under the yoke of their masters. From the crack of dawn till dusk, they were the silent pillars of the empire, yet they remained invisible in the eyes of history. Imagine being viewed not as a person, but as property. The Roman marketplaces were awash with human lives for sale, a grim testament to the empire's reliance on human bondage. Each chain, each collar bore the name of a slave, marking them as mere commodities in the bustling markets of Rome. Slavery in Rome was not confined to hard labor in fields and mines. Many slaves served in Roman households, their lives spent in servitude, catering to every whim of their masters. From cooking and cleaning to rearing children, they were integral to daily life, yet bound in perpetual servitude. But the life of a slave was far from gentle. Harsh punishments were common, and mercy was a luxury seldom afforded. The crack of a whip was a reminder of their status, not as humans, but as tools, expendable and replaceable. This stark contrast between master and slave was a defining feature of Roman society. Yet, within this world of oppression, sparks of resistance glimmered. The tale of Spartacus is but one of many where slaves challenged their chains. These acts of defiance, big and small, echoed the indomitable spirit of those who yearned for freedom in an empire built on their subjugation. Chapter 2. The Arena of Power. Imagine a place where the fate of an empire was decided not by the will of the people, but by the schemes of the powerful. The Roman Senate, a grand stage of marble and rhetoric, was also a breeding ground for corruption. Here, ambition whispered in the ears of power, and loyalty was often bought and sold like a commodity in the marketplace. In these hallowed halls, political alliances were as fragile as glass, and betrayals were as common as the speeches that echoed off the walls. The story of Julius Caesar's fall is a stark reminder. In Rome, a senator's knife could be as deadly as a soldier's sword. Power was a game played with a gambler's nerves, and the stakes were the highest imaginable. Amidst the sprawling city, the lives of Rome's elite were a stark contrast to those of the common people. While senators dined on delicacies and draped themselves in fineries, the masses toiled for their daily bread. This disparity was the kindling for unrest, a silent cry for justice in the face of opulence. But the consequences of this political corruption rippled far beyond the Senate's walls. It eroded the very foundations of Roman society. Injustice, heavy taxation, and the decline of essential services were the bitter fruits borne by the common people. As the rich indulged in their games of power, the empire itself began to fray at the edges, weakened by the very leaders meant to sustain it. Make sure to subscribe and press the like button to join our community of history enthusiasts. And don't forget to hit the bell icon. This way, you'll be notified each week as we uncover more secrets of the past. Your support keeps history alive on our channel. Chapter 3. Blood for Pleasure. Welcome to the Colosseum, the heart of Rome's bloody entertainment. Here, beneath the roar of thousands, gladiators prepared to battle, not for glory or honor, but often for the mere chance to survive. Each clash of the sword was a grim dance between life and death, watched by an audience captivated by the spectacle of violence. The sands of the arena were stained with the blood of those who fought for the crowd's pleasure. Gladiators, many of whom were slaves or prisoners of war, faced not only each other, but also wild beasts. To the roar of the crowd, these games were more than sport. They were a display of raw power, of life and death controlled by the turn of a thumb. The world of the gladiators was diverse, drawing warriors from across the empire and beyond. Some were even women, defying the norms of their time. In the training schools, known as ludi, they honed their skills, transforming into living weapons. Each had a story, a life outside the arena. Yet within its walls they were but players in a deadly game. The gladiatorial games were a mirror to Roman society. From the poorest citizen to the wealthiest patrician, all were drawn to the spectacle. It was an obsession that blurred the lines of morality, where the thrill of the fight often overshadowed the value of human life. These games were a reflection of a society enamored with power and dominance, a spectacle that both united and divided. As the sun set on the Colosseum, the cheers faded, leaving behind the echoes of those who fought and fell. Their stories, often lost in the sands of time, remind us of the human cost of Rome's grand spectacles. The glory of the arena was fleeting, and for many, it was a path that led only to oblivion. Chapter 4. Under the Shadow of the Eagle. As the Roman eagle spread its wings across the known world, its shadow fell upon countless lands. The Roman legions, a symbol of unparalleled military might, marched with relentless precision. But beneath their disciplined veneer lay a brutal truth. Their path was often paved with the suffering of conquered peoples. In their quest for expansion, the legions left a trail of destruction. Cities like Carthage and Jerusalem felt the full wrath of Rome's military machine. Sieges, massacres, and enslavement were tools of subjugation, wielded with chilling efficiency. The message was clear. Resistance to Rome was not just futile, it was catastrophic. The cost of Rome's conquests was not measured merely in battles won, but in lives shattered. Entire populations were uprooted, their cultures and histories often erased or assimilated into the Roman fold. The echoes of these lost civilizations are a haunting reminder of the human toll of empire. Life as a Roman soldier was far from glamorous. Bound by strict discipline, these men faced harsh conditions, long campaigns away from home, and the constant threat of death or severe injury. Their sacrifices, too, were a cog in the grand machine of Roman ambition, often unrecognized in the glory of victory. In the wake of the legion's march, the landscape of the ancient world was forever altered. The legacy of Roman rule was etched in stone and blood across continents. While Rome celebrated its triumphs, the scars of its conquests bore witness to the brutal cost of empire. In the silence that followed the battle cries, the true price of Rome's expansion was whispered. Chapter 5. The Cost of Splendor. In the shadow of Rome's splendor lay an empire sustained by relentless economic exploitation. From the gold mines of Spain to the grain fields of Egypt, the empire's reach was vast. Its wealth, as immense as it was, came at the expense of its conquered provinces, exploited to fuel the unquenchable thirst of Rome's extravagance. The provinces bore the heavy yoke of Roman taxation. Taxes were not just financial burdens, they were symbols of subjugation. The wealth of entire regions was siphoned to Rome, leaving many in the grip of poverty and despair. The empire's prosperity was built on the backs of those who saw little return for their toil. As the elite in Rome indulged in opulent feasts and grandiose constructions, the provinces languished. The disparity was stark. While a Roman patrician adorned themselves in silks and jewels, a provincial farmer struggled for survival. This imbalance was the hidden foundation of Rome's grandeur, a luxury afforded by the impoverishment of others. But oppression breeds resistance. The heavy hand of Roman economic policies ignited flames of rebellion across the empire. From the Jewish revolt to the uprisings in Gaul, these were not just struggles for independence, but cries against exploitation and injustice. Each revolt was a testament to the unsustainable nature of Rome's avarice. As the centuries passed, the once lush provinces began to wither under Rome's greed. Mines were depleted, farmlands exhausted, and people embittered. The empire, which had stretched too far and grasped too greedily, began to show cracks. In the end, the economic strategies that had built Rome's wealth became harbingers of its decline, a cautionary tale of excess and exploitation. Chapter 6. The Fall. In its twilight years, the Roman Empire became a paradox of splendor and decay. Its elites reveled in unprecedented luxury, oblivious to the crumbling world around them. Rome, once the heart of a vibrant empire, began to show signs of neglect. The streets that once echoed with the march of triumphs were now lined with the vestiges of forgotten glory. As Rome's ruling class sank deeper into decadence, the moral fabric of the empire frayed. The pursuit of pleasure became an obsession, overshadowing virtues that once defined Roman greatness. Beneath the gilded surface lay a society in turmoil, with a widening chasm between the opulent few and the struggling many. The seeds of decline were not just sown in moral decay, but were also rooted in administrative and military failures. Corruption eroded the effectiveness of Rome's institutions, and the once invincible legions faltered. The empire that had conquered the world was now struggling to defend its own borders, a shadow of its former might. As Rome weakened, it became vulnerable to external threats. Barbarian tribes, once held at bay by Rome's military might, now surged across its borders. The sacking of Rome by the Visigoths was not just a military defeat. It was the symbolic end of an era. The empire that had ruled for centuries was now gasping for breath, its end marked by the very forces it had once dominated. In the aftermath of Rome's fall, the world it had shaped continued to evolve. The legacy of Rome, both its glories and its failures, laid the foundation for the new world that arose from its ashes. As we reflect on the rise and fall of this mighty empire, we are reminded of the timeless lesson that all empires, no matter how grand, are but fleeting chapters in the vast narrative of history. As our journey through the shadowed halls of Roman history comes to a close, we're left to ponder the enduring legacy of an empire that shaped the course of human history. The ruins of Rome, standing solemn and majestic, are not just relics of the past. They are timeless sentinels, guarding the tales of triumph and tragedy. Thank you for joining us on this voyage through time. If you've enjoyed this glimpse into Rome's enigmatic past, stay with us as we unravel more mysteries of history in our upcoming episodes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more tales that bring history to life. Until next time, keep delving into the stories that shaped our world, and keep the spirit of curiosity alive.